Hello friends, welcome back to Relief Tutorials. Today we will learn about real numbers. Now first of all I will tell you what is natural number. So you know what are natural numbers. What are natural number? 1, 2, 3, 4, dash dash dash. These are all natural numbers. Then comes whole number. What are whole number? So natural number including 0 is called whole number. So here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, dash, 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 dash. So all natural numbers are whole number, but all whole numbers are not natural number. Why? Because 0 is not a natural number. Here, then comes integers. Integers. Integer means dash, 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 minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, dash, 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 dash. So, these are called integer. Okay, see here 1, 2, 3. These are positive integer. Minus negative 1, negative 2, negative 3 are negative integer, and this 0. So all natural numbers are integer. All whole number are also integer. Clear? Then comes rational number. Rational numbers. See, this is very important topic. What do you mean by rational numbers? So the numbers which can be written. Numbers which can be written in the form p by q. The numbers which can be written in the form p by q, p and q belongs to integer. They can be any number from these integers. See, integers is denoted by z, whole number is denoted by w, and natural number is denoted by n. Clear? So the numbers which can be expressed in the form p by q, where p and q belongs to z and q is not equal to 0. Why? Because if denominator is equals to 0, you know that anything upon 0 is not defined. So it is necessary that denominator should not be equal to 0 are called rational numbers. Example we can say, see, 5 by 2, 7 by 3, minus 11 by 12, clear, 8, that is 8 by 1, all these are rational numbers. Why? Because they are expressed in the form p by q, where q is not equal to 0 and p and q belongs to integers. Okay, now question arises. By saying this you will be able to answer, okay, here it is p, here it is q, so it is a rational number. If I give you, see here, if I say minus 5 by 7, so p by q is not equal to 0, so it is a rational number. Just mere by observation you can say it is rational. But if these are expressed in decimal form, see 5 by 2 means 2.5, so 2.5 is decimal. Is it clear? And this decimal is terminating decimal. Okay, so 5 by 2, see here, 5 by 2 is equals to 2.5. Similarly, if I say 1 by 3, so 1 by 3 is 0.3333 dot 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 dot. So can be written as 0.3 bar. We have learned in 9th standard. So this is non-terminating recurring decimal, whereas these are terminating decimals. So all terminating decimals can be written in the form p by q. So by looking this, we can't say, see, by 2.5. So 2.5, here in integer we have fixed number 1 and 2, not all those numbers which lies between 1 and 2. Only 1 and 2 are integer. In between 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, they are decimal form. They all are terminating decimals. So they are not integers, they are rational numbers. So by saying this, see, to decimal form, see, this is what, this is terminating decimal, terminating decimal, terminating decimal. This is what? This is non-terminating recurring, or repeating, we can say recurring. So this is expressed in the form p by q. So we can say this is a rational number. This terminating decimal is also expressed in the form p by q, and q is not equal to 0. So we can say it is also a rational number. So in short, we can say that all terminating and non-terminating recurring decimals are rational number. So all terminating and non-terminating all terminating and non-terminating recurring. So all terminating and non-terminating recurring decimals are rational. Clear? So what are rational numbers? So number which can be expressed in the form p by q, where p and a q belongs to z and q is not equal to 0, are called rational numbers. So all these are rational numbers. You see p and q, they belongs to integer and q is not equal to 0. So mere by observation you can say it is a rational number if it is expressed in p by q. But here see the decimal form of rational number, 2.5. So this is terminating decimal. Terminating means it ends after few digit. It ends completely, it ends. So all terminating decimals see can be expressed in the form 5 by 2. Clear? And this is see non-terminating recurring decimal, that is nothing, 1 by 3. If you divide 1 by 3, this will be the answer, and this type of decimals are called non-terminating recurring decimals. So 1 by 3 is a rational, so its answer is also a rational. So these two are decimal forms. So we can say all terminating and non-terminating. Non-terminating means it will never ends and particular number will be repeated continuously. So non-terminating recurring decimal can be expressed in the form p by q. So they all are rational numbers. Clear? Have you got it? So we have learned in 9th standard all these things. They are rational numbers. Now we will talk about irrational number. Irrational numbers. This is very important topic. Irrational numbers. So what do you mean by irrational numbers? So the numbers which cannot be expressed, the numbers which cannot be expressed or which cannot be written, the number which cannot be written in the form p by q, where p and q belongs to z and q is not equal to 0. So numbers which cannot be written in the p by q form are called irrational numbers. They are called irrational numbers. So example, irrational number. So it cannot be expressed in the form p by q. And one thing I can say, see here, example we discuss later, and we can say all non-terminating, non-recurring decimals are irrational. Example, see 2 times non. 2 times non in irrational. Non-terminating, non-recurring. So it will never end, but not any digits will not be repeated. For example, say I can say 1.235781637943186 dash dash dash. See here. You look at this decimal form. All these digits, all these are non-terminating. See, it continues, but not even a single digit is repeated. So these are non-terminating, non-recurring decimals. So they are irrational numbers. Clear? Example, we can say 0.10, 100, 1,000, 140. See here, nothing is repeating. 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. Not particular digit is repeating. So all these are non-terminating, non-recurring decimals. So they all are irrational numbers. And also see, if p is prime, then root p is irrational. If p is prime number, then root p is irrational. See example we will see. 1 is neither a prime nor a composite. 2. Clear? 3. 4. 4 we will write. See 4, 5, 6, 7. I will write this 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. For example, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19. Okay. 21, 25, anything. Barabar say 27. Is it clear? 36, 39, 49, etc. Now look here, see. 2 is prime, so root p is irrational. 3 is prime, so root 3 is irrational. Now root 4, so root 4 is equals to 2. So 2 is a natural number and all natural number are rational number. So you see this is not a irrational. Root 5 is irrational, root 6 is irrational, root 7 is irrational, root 8 is irrational. Now root 9 is equals to 3. 9 is not a prime, 4 is not a prime. Clear? Root 11 irrational, root 11 irrational, root 12 is also irrational. Why? See, so 12 is not a prime, no? Okay, so root 12 I can write this way, see here. Root 12 is equals to 4 into 3. Root 4 is 2 and 2 root 3. So what about 3? 3 is a prime. So root 3 is a irrational. Multiply by 2 is also irrational. Root 13 irrational, root 14 irrational, root 15, root 16, root 17, root 19, root 21, root 25 is equals to 5, it is rational. Root 27, root 36 is equals to 6, it is rational. Root 39, root 49 is equals to 7, it is rational. So all these are rational. Rest of the things are irrational. Clear? But one thing is clear, if P is a prime, then root P is always irrational. See, 2 is prime, so it is irrational. 3 is a prime, it is irrational. 5 is a prime, it is irrational. 6 is not a prime, but root 6 is irrational. So root of all number except perfect square. Say 4 is a perfect square, 9 is a perfect square, 16 is a perfect square, root 16 is equals to 4. It is rational. Root 25, root 36, root 14 and all these are rational. Rest of the numbers, whatever left composite number, its root is irrational. But this is a theorem, if P is a prime, then root P is always irrational, that is a fact. Clear? So what we can say, the number which cannot be expressed in the form P by Q are called irrational number. All non-terminating, non-recurring, 2 times non-terminating, non-recurring decimals are irrational number. This is irrational. This root 2, root 3, root 5, root 6, root 7 are irrational, but this is not. If P is prime, then root P is irrational. If it is a composite number, then its root is also a irrational. But if it is a perfect square, then its root is a rational. Clear? And few more things we can see here. See, notes. See, sum or difference of rational and irrational. If one number is rational and another is irrational, their sum or difference may be rational or irrational. It may be rational or irrational. Sum or difference of rational and irrational may be rational or irrational. Clear? Okay. So in this way, product or quotient of rational and irrational may be rational or irrational. May be rational or irrational. Product or quotient. See here, if I say root 3 is irrational into root 3, this is irrational into, root 3, 2 into root 3. 2 is a rational, root 3 is irrational. So 2 root 3 is also a irrational. So it may be rational or irrational, we can't say that. Clear? The sum or difference of rational and irrational may be rational or irrational. And also, product or quotient of rational and irrational may be rational or irrational. So these are two important topics. Clear? See friends, I have told you, sum or difference of rational and irrational. Maybe I am extremely sorry. Sum or difference of rational and irrational, I am sorry, is irrational. Sorry. See example, say 5 minus root 2. See, this is rational. Plus or minus root 2. This is rational, this is irrational. But their sum and difference is always irrational. I am extremely sorry friends. So, sum or difference of rational and irrational is irrational. And product or quotient of rational and irrational is irrational. Always irrational. Clear? Say 2 into root 3. This is rational, this is irrational, but the product is irrational. Clear? Similarly, 5 upon root 2. This is rational, this is irrational, but number is irrational. Okay. So, what I want to explain is here, sum or difference of rational, one is rational and one is irrational. Their sum and difference is always irrational. Product or quotient of rational and irrational is always irrational. Clear? That we will prove later. Okay, I am extremely sorry. So, this is about irrational number. Now, real number. So, all rational is denoted by Q, and irrational number are called real number. That is the name of our chapter. So, all rational and irrational are called, irrational we sometimes say IR, all irrational number are called real number R. Clear? So, this is little bit recap of what we have learned in 9th standard, but please be here, I was extremely sorry. Sum or difference of rational and irrational is always irrational. Product or quotient of rational and irrational is always irrational. Clear? So, with this we have completed our theory. Now, we will learn few theorems. See, theorem 1.3. Theorem 1.3. What it says, see here. Let P be a prime. Let P be a prime number. Let P be a prime number. And A be positive integer. And A is positive integer. P is a prime number, A is positive integer. Then if P divides A square, then we can say P divides A. If P is able to divide A square, then P divides A. So, P is a prime number and A is any number. Okay. So, if P divides A square, then P also divides A. Have you got it? P is any prime number. You know what is prime number, and A be any positive integer. And if P divides A square, then we can say P divides A. So, this is very important theorem we are going to use in our next problems. So, you remember this theorem. P is a prime number, A is any integer. If P is able to divide A square, then P also divides A. Clear? You take any prime number. 3. Okay? And you take A any positive integer. P is able to divide A square. Clear? Then P also divides A. If you want one example, see, we can take one example. P prime number, you suppose P is equals to 7. And A is any integer. Now, A is equals to 49. Come on, it is positive integer. Now, P divides A square. So, now P divides A square means we can say A square. A square is equals to 49 into 49. Clear or not? Now, P divides A square. So, P divides A square means you know that A square upon P. See, P divides A square, that is 49 into 49 upon 7. So, it is divided, 7 ones are 7. So, this P divides A square. Then, P also divides A. Okay, then A upon P. What is A? 49. P is 7. So, 7 7. So, if P is able to divide A square, then P also divides A. Clear? So, this is our theorem that we are going to use. Clear? Now, we will do few problems based on proof. Okay. See, little bit theory. If I able to write, see here, if I say B square is equals to 2A square, suppose this is the fact. What do you mean by this? 2 is a factor of B square. 2 into a square. See this, 2 into a square. So 2 is one of the factor of b square. So we can say b square is able to divide by 2. If I write b square is equals to 2a square, means 2 is factor of b square. So the b square will get divided by 2. So I can say 2 divides b square. Why? 2 is a factor of b square. So this b square will get divided by 2. Clear? And one more thing, co-primes. If I say a upon b is co-prime. What do you mean by co-prime? Means this is a prime number, this is also a prime number. So they will not have any factor common. See, for example, 3 by 5. This is prime, this is also prime. They are co-prime. Co-prime means factor of 3 is 1 by 3. Factor of 5 is 1 by 5. So, prime number means it has factor 1 in itself. It has 1 in itself. So, they don't have any factor in common except 1. Clear? 3 by 5, no need of writing 1 also. 3 by 5 is equals to 3 by 5. So, they are co-prime means they will not have any factor common. If I say a upon b is equals to 3 by 5 and a and b are co-prime, means they do not have any factor in common. Clear? If I write 2 into 3 upon 2 into 5. So, here see 2 is a common factor. If a upon b is equals. So, 2 is a common factor. So, they are not co-prime. 2 into 3, 6. 2 into 5, 10. Co-prime is now they are further, they have one factor common, that is 2. So, they are not prime numbers. Are you understanding what I am telling? What do you mean by co-prime? Co-prime means this numerator and denominator will not have any factor in common. You cannot cancel them. See, 3 by 5 we cannot cancel with any number. So, they are called co-primes. And yet this thing you understood. If I say b square is equals to 2a square means 2 is a factor of b square. So, this b square will get divided by 2, or I can say 2 divides b square. So, here p divides a square, then p divides a. So, therefore, I can say 2 divides b according to theorem 1.3. If 2 divides b square, then 2 divides b. If p divides a square, then p divides a. Clear? But this should be a prime number. 2 is a prime number. Clear? So, this is our theorem. We will use this theorem. Okay? Have you got it? Now, what I want to express is very important thing. You have to prove that. See, I am doing this is theorem. Theorem 1.4. What we have to prove? Prove root 2 is irrational. These are very important problems. Root 2 is irrational, you have to prove. Clear? We are going to prove this. See, this was asked in CBSE and even GSEB also. It was asked in 2009, 2008, 2010 and 2015. So, you have to prove that root 2 is irrational. Okay, so what we will do, how we are able to prove this? See, first of all, we will suppose that root 2 is rational. We have to prove that it is irrational, but we will suppose that it is a rational. If it is a rational, you know that all rational number can be expressed in the form p by q. Clear? If it is a rational, then I can say rational number. See, I can say rational. If it is a rational number, then it can be expressed in the form p by q, where p and q belongs to z and q is not equal to 0. Clear or not? So, suppose I will suppose that let root 2 be rational. So, I can say now, see, this we have to prove. So, we will suppose, let us assume that root 2 is rational. See, you have to again prove root 3 is irrational, root 5 is irrational, root 7 is irrational, root 11 is irrational. In every case, first of all, you have to assume that it is rational. Okay, then we will prove and we will say that our assumption is wrong. It means root 2 is not rational. If it is not rational, then it is irrational. So let us assume that root 2 is rational. So therefore root 2 is rational means root 2 I can express as a upon b, where AB belongs to Z and B is not equal to 0. Okay, and here A and B are co-primes. A and B are co-primes. Do you know what do you mean by co-primes? Means they don't have any factor in common. So first of all we will assume that root 2 is rational. So if it is rational, it can be expressed in the form A by B, where A and B belongs to Z, B is not equal to 0, and we can say A and B are co-primes. Clear? Now we will square on both the sides in order to remove the root. Now on squaring on both the sides, so we will square on both sides. So if you square on both sides, root 2 square is 2, that is equals to a square upon b square. So that implies, here it will go here, so a square is equals to 2b square. So a square is equals to 2b square means 2 is a factor of a square or not. So we can say now, here implies, we can say then 2 divides a square. 2 divides a square. Clear? So I can 2 divides a square, so implies 2 divides a. Theorem 1.3. Have you got it, friends? Nothing I have done. First of all, we have to prove that it is irrational, so we will assume that it is irrational. So if it is irrational, it can be expressed in the form a by b. They are integer and b is not equal to 0, and we have supposed that they are co-primes, means they don't have any factor in common. Now we will square on both the sides, so we got this. Now a square is equals to 2b square, so we can say 2 is a factor of a square. So if 2 is one of the factor of a square, this a square will get divided by 2. So I can say 2 divides a square. So if 2 divides a square, 2 divides a. This is our theorem. Just now I have explained you our theorem. That is our theorem. See, what is our theorem? This is our theorem. If p divides a square, then p also divides a. So if this p is able to divide a square, then p also will divide a. That is our theorem 1.3. So that I have used here. 2 divides a square, so 2 divides a. This is theorem 1.3. Clear? This I will take one. So now, so 2 divides a. So now I can write now second phase. So 2 divides a means 2 is one of the factor a. So therefore I can write a is equals to 2c, where c is any integer. Sir, how you suppose this? 2 divides a. So 2 is one of the factor of a. So I can write a as a multiple of 2. Why? Because 2 is a factor of a. That's why only 2 divides a. When this a will get divided, see any number, for example, can say 8. So that is equals to 2 into 4. So we can divide this by 2. I can write this 8 as 2 into 4. So I can write this as 2c. 2c. This is a. So a is equals to 2c. Why? Because it is 8 and one of its factor is 2. So 2 into 4. So 2c, and c is equals to 4. Any integer I can write this way. Clear? So I have expressed a in terms of b and I have expressed a in terms of c. So here a is expressed in terms of b as well as c. Clear? But we want a square. So I can again write a square is equals to 2c square. A square is equals to 2c square. So that is equals to 4c square. So therefore a square is equals to 4c square. So here I have expressed a square in terms of b and I have expressed a square in terms of c. So a is expressed in terms of b and c. That we have to do. Clear? This is the moral of a story. See, what is moral of a story? Moral of a story is a is expressed in terms of B and C. That's all. Have you got it? This we have to do. We have to express this A square in terms of C, A in terms of B and A in terms of C. Clear? This we got. See now, see A square, so I can explain 2B square is equals to 4C square. Okay, so I can write here now. So A square is equals to 4C square, but A square is equals to 2B square. So this I can say 2. From 1 and 2 I can write here A square is equals to 2B square. So I can write here 2B square is equals to 4C square from 1. Have you got it, friends? See this, A square is equals to 2B square, but A square is equals to 4C square. So in place of A square I will write 4C square. A square is equals to, in terms of A square I will write 2B square. So 2B square is equals to 4C square. Let's 2 go here. So B square is equals to 2C square. So what do you mean by this? Okay, 2, here 2 is a factor of B square. Why? Because B square is written as 2 into C square. So 2 is one of the factor of B square. So I can write here now, okay, 2 divides B square. 2 divides B square implies 2 divides B. Theorem 1.3. See this A and B. 2 divides A and 2 divides B. Clear? See here, 2 divides A, 2 divides B. Have you got it here? So what do you mean by 2 divides A? So 2 is one of the factor of A and 2 is also the factor of B. So 2 is factor of both A and B. And here we have supposed that A and B are co-primes, means they don't have any factor in common. But we have proved that, okay, 2 divides A. So 2 is factor of A. If you want to write, you can write. Therefore 2 is a factor of A. 2 is a factor of A. Here we can write 2 is a factor of B. So 2 is factor of A and B both. 2 is a factor of A and B both. But A and B are co-primes. Co-primes means they don't have any factor in common. But we have proved that, okay, 2 is factor of A as well as 2 is factor of B. We have proved here that. Clear? So what do you mean by this? So thus we can say, thus 2 is a common factor. 2 is a common factor of A and B. Have you got it, friends? 2 is a factor of B, 2 is a factor of A. It means 2 is a common factor of A and B, but A and B are co-primes. Clear? So this contradicts the fact that A and B are co-primes. Okay, so we can say now, but this contradicts. Contradicts means, you know, opposite. Contradicts means opposite. So it contradicts the fact. What was the fact? That A and B are co-primes. Co-prime means it does not have any factor in common except 1. But we have proved that 2 is a common factor of A and B. So this contradicts the fact that A and B are co-primes. So contradiction arises. Why this contradiction arises? By our assumption that root 2 is rational. So the contradiction arises. Contradiction arises by assuming that root 2 is rational. That root 2 is rational. So this contradiction has arisen by assuming root 2 is rational. So therefore our assumption is wrong and root 2 is irrational. Have you got it, friends? If you see the texture of our problem, you can understand. Okay, first of all, we have supposed that root 2 is rational. So if it is a rational, you know that it can be expressed in the form A and B, where A and B are integer and B is not equal to 0 and A and B are co-primes. Co-primes means it don't have any factor in common except 1. So now what we have done, we have squared on both the sides. So you got 2 is equal to A square upon B square. So A square is equals to 2B square. So AX square is expressed in terms of B square. So here 2 is a factor of A square. So 2 divides A square. So 2 also divides A according to theorem. So 2 divides A means 2 is one of the factor of A. So we have proved that 2 is factor of A. Now we will prove that 2 is factor of B also. Clear? So now what we will do? 2 is one of the factor of A. So A can be expressed as 2C. I told you 8 is A and 2 is one of the factor. 8 is A and 2 is one of the factor. So I can write into 2 into 4. So A is equals to 2C. A is equals to 2C. Now again squaring on both the sides. So A square is equals to 4C square. A square is equals to 2B square. So 2B square is equals to 4C square. So B square is equals to 2C. Now B expressed in terms of C. Clear? So what do you mean by 2 is one of the factor of B square. So we can say 2 divides B square. So 2 divides B. 2 divides B. It means B is get divided by 2. We can divide this B by 2 means 2 is one of the factor of this B. So 2 is a factor of B. 2 is a factor of B. 2 is a factor of A. So 2 is a common factor of A and B. Thus we can say 2 is a common factor of A and B. But this contradicts the fact that A and B are co-primes. So this contradiction arises by assumption root 2 is rational. So therefore root 2 is irrational. Clear? Have you got it? Similarly, we can prove one more thing. Root 3 is irrational, root 5 is irrational. Anything you want to prove, you can prove. Okay, this we have proved. Now I will see. We will prove textbook exercise 1.3 question number 1. Prove root 5 is irrational. This we have to prove. So what we'll do? Same thing. See, let us assume that root 5 is rational. Root 5 is rational. So therefore root 5 is equals to A upon B, where A comma B belongs to Z, B is not equal to 0 and A and B are co-primes. Co-prime means they have only one factor in common. Now we will explain that it has 5. A has one factor 5. B also has one factor 5. Why 5? Because here there is a root 5. If it was root 2, then we have seen 2. We will prove see now. So now squaring on both the sides. Squaring on both sides. Squaring on both sides. So root 5 square is 5 is equals to A square upon B square. So therefore, what we will get? A square is equals to 5B square. So A square is equals to 5 into B square. So 5 is one of the factor of A square. So we can say here, so therefore what you can say? Okay, 5 divides A square. Why? Because 5 is factor. See, A square is equals to 5 into B square. A square is equals to 5 into B square. See, if I write, for example, 6 is equals to 2 into 3. So 2 is a factor of 6. 3 is also factor of 6. So A square is equal to 5 into B square. So 5 is a factor of A square. So therefore I can say 5 divides A square implies 5 divides A. Theorem 1.3. 5 divides A. So therefore 5 is a factor of A. So we have proved that 5 is a factor of A. Similarly, now we will prove that 5 is also a factor of B. So now 5 is a factor of A. So therefore I can write A is equals to 5C. Why? Because 5 is one of the factor of A. See, if 2 is factor of 6, so I can write 6 is equals to 2 into 3. So here A is equals to 5 into C, means 5 is a factor of A. Now squaring on both the sides, so I can get A square is equals to 25C square. Here this is 1, this is 2. If you want to take, you take. Now from 1 and 2, what we can say? You see 5B square is equals to 25C square. From 1 and 2, easy, same pattern. So now 5, 25 cancel. So B square is equals to 5C square. So now 5 is a factor of B square. So therefore I can say 5 divides B square. 5 divides A square. 5 divides B square. Implies 5 divides B. Theorem 1.3. 5 divides A. So therefore 5 is a factor of B. Phi is a factor of A, phi is a factor of B. Thus, what we can say? Thus, we can say phi is a factor, common factor of both A and B. Clear? Thus, we can say, thus, phi is a common factor. Phi is a common factor of A and B. But this contradicts the fact that A and B are co-prime. That A and B are co-prime. You know that if A and B are co-prime, then they should not have any factor in common. But here phi is a common factor of both A and B. Okay, so we can say this contradiction arises. This contradiction arises by our assumption or by assuming that root phi is rational. So therefore our assumption is wrong. So therefore root phi is irrational. See, we have proved root 2 is irrational. We have proved, we have proved okay, root 2 is irrational. So here we will get a square is equal to 2b square. Same thing we have proved that root phi is irrational. So in squaring you will get here a square is equal to 5b square. Similarly, you can prove root 3 is irrational. Similarly, prove root 3, root 7, root 11, etc. are irrational. Clear? So you have to do one thing. Prove this homework. This is for your homework. I think already I have given you assignments. So from that assignment you prove root 3 is irrational, 3 root 7, all these are irrational. Okay. But this is personal homework. Do this. Root 3, root 7, root 11 are irrational. Prove. This is homework for you. Please, one problem will be asked from this. Clear? So this homework you have to do. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Okay, please keep on practicing. Next lecture we will do few more problems. Thank you very much.